Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to the third episode of the On Season Sports Podcast. I am Noah, here joined again with Alex.
Hello.
And it is February 10th, 2020. As our previous two episodes have stated, we're all about sports, the four main professional American sports, throw in some college, and some fantasy sports as well. Some also little segments here and there over the summer and the fall, whenever it is. Just kind of anything we like to talk about sports, 'cause that's what we're here to do. So, to begin, let's just start it off right away. If you haven't heard any of our other intros, go back and watch our first or second two episodes. We really appreciate it. We thank you guys for coming and listening to us talk. So, let's get right into it. Our first topic today, as our first two were before, were the NBA, but we're going to start out with something a little more boring, per se, and that'll be the NHL. For the NHL, there isn't really a whole lot to talk about, just like last week. NHL's kind of boring. For the standings, I don't think much has changed in the past week. The Bruins are still on top with 80 points. Caps are at 77. Blues 73. And the Canucks at 65. Those are your top teams through the NHL. The only closest people are the Lightning are 5 points back from the Bruins. Penguins are 4 points back from the Caps. Avalanche are 3 points back from the Blues. And the Oilers and the Knights are also 1 point back from the Canucks. So the NHL is kind of quiet. Playoffs are still roughly 25-ish to 28-ish games away. But one of the big topics of the NHL right now is, as of February 10th, will Alexander Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals score his 700th career goal tonight as we speak? The game should start right now, I believe. It's 7 Eastern. We're recording this at 6 Central Time, so we'll see if that happens. We'll probably get back to you on that next week, because that'll be about the only thing that we'll have to talk about the NHL. I also wrote down, is the NHL at its lowest viewing point? Who really knows? I think the NHL definitely had a comeback, some type of watching comeback, when they brought the new Vegas team in and they made to the Stanley Cup Finals his first year. And then the Caps win it because everyone wants to see Ovi win his first Stanley Cup. But I don't know, I just don't think that the NHL is, or hockey in general, is a very well-known sport like football or basketball, or even the MLB for that much.
Yeah, I mean, considering I don't watch hockey really at all, I feel like playoff hockey is, anything besides playoff hockey is too boring to watch.
Yeah, I mean, even the All-Star game to some extent is pretty fun to watch. Some of the competitions that they throw and stuff like that, their layout of an All-Star weekend is pretty good, but I don't know, other than that, how well it actually is. But let's move on to something more interesting. NCAA men's basketball. So we'll start out with rankings. Rankings sound okay to you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So Baylor hasn't moved from number 1. Gonzaga hasn't moved from number 2. Kansas is still at 3. San Diego State's at 4. Louisville's 5. Dayton 6. Duke 7. Florida State 8. Maryland 9. And the only team that has moved into the top 10 is Seton Hall at number 10. And they were at 12 last week. So, nothing in the top 10 has changed at all from last week. What has changed is Kentucky moved up 3 spots to 12. Auburn didn't move at all at 11. Penn State moved up 9 spots to 13. West Virginia went down 1. Villanova went down 5. Colorado went up 8 spots to 16. Oregon went down 3. Marquette moved in to the top, and top 25 up 8 spots to number 18. Butler didn't move from 19. Houston up 5 spots to 20. Iowa moved down 4. Illinois moved down 2. Creighton moved down 2. Texas Tech up 2, and LSU down 7. So anything out of the top 10, there was a lot of movement this week.
Michigan State fell out of the top 25, and they were preseason number 1.
Yeah, and they have 124 votes right now. They're still what's that? 36 votes out of the top 25. Anyone else got it dropped from rank? Michigan State 16. Arizona also dropped out.
Ohio State's getting 14 votes, but just got beat by Wisconsin by like 20.
Yeah, and Wisconsin still
votes.
doesn't have any votes. Arizona has 34. Purdue has 27. There's still some good teams out there, but I don't know. It's gonna be weird not seeing like North Carolina, like we said in the first time.
Virginia might not make the tournament. They're on the bubble.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird basketball year, I think. But
And I mean, I saw this is the most recent like bracketology has 11 Big Ten teams in the tournament.
yeah, that's
So it's a lot different because normally that's the ACC.
yeah. So maybe the Big Ten will pull something out. The one thing is, we're just gonna stop right there with the rankings. We're gonna talk about. Did you see that BYU halftime show with that mascot?
Yeah. How did he flew from the 3-point line?
4 guys threw this probably 160 to 155 pound dude from a college free throw line, and he dunked it.
3-point line.
Yeah, what did I say? Free throw? I meant 3-point. 3-point line. That is crazy. That is absolutely nuts.
I don't even know how that's physically possible.
No, and if you go back and watch the video, the guy that's like close, like has his back and he's like throwing him over his head is like the smallest of the 4 guys. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane.
Highlight.
Yeah, for sure. But let's go over. Do we have any upsets of the weekend on the top of your head?
Duke almost lost.
Yeah, Duke almost lost. You can also say that UNC almost won. That game came down to the wire with Trey Jones intentionally missing the free throw. The ball pops out to the 3-point line where he picks it up, dribbles in, shoots at the a jumper at the free throw line to tie it, to go to OT, and then what did they actually end up winning by? I don't remember how much it was by.
They won by 2, I believe.
Yeah, I got it right here. They did win by 2, 98-96. Trey Jones definitely turned it on after he got that. He was just totally focused after that happened.
Other upsets. Marquette beat number 19 Butler by 19.
Wow.
Oregon, number 14 Oregon lost to Oregon State by 10. UCLA lost to number 23 Arizona lost to UCLA 65-52. Gonzaga beat St. Mary's, who's supposed to be in the tournament as well, 90-60.
90.
Crazy.
Was St. Mary's ranked at one point?
They were earlier in the year, yeah. They played Wisconsin earlier too. That was a weird setup.
Huh.
Villanova lost to Seton Hall. That was a big game. They're both. Seton Hall was just out of the top 10.
Yeah, now they're top 10 now.
Oh, West Virginia was in the original top 16 seeds that the NCAA released, and then they lost to Oklahoma by 10.
Wow.
So there was a few upsets. Oh, Michigan State lost to Michigan by 11.
Yeah.
That's the last one I can.
Not as many as last week, but definitely a good amount.
No.
College basketball proves that anything can really happen. So the next topic for the NCAA men's basketball is going to be March Madness, of course. And as of February 8th, they came out and said the current March Madness top 16 seeds go as are, or as is, I should say. Baylor's number 1, Kansas 2, Gonzaga 3, and San Diego State 4, which is really weird because Gonzaga has been 2 basically the whole time we've been talking about this, and Kansas has been 3. But that just...
It just shows that they value strength of schedule more.
Exactly.
But from what I'm understanding is that Gonzaga is clearly the third team over San Diego State from the release video that they had, because they have a lot more quadrant 1 wins.
I would definitely I think San Diego State's the only reason they're in top 5 is because they're undefeated. If they lose one game, they fall out of the top 10 maybe, because they don't play anybody good.
I don't think they're actually really good. They were down to Utah State by 15 at half and ended up winning. So, and Utah State's not bad. They might make the tournament as well. So, San Diego State is actually pretty good this year.
Huh.
It's just they don't play anybody, so no one really thinks about them, basically.
True. Oh. All right. Well, anyway, the number 5 seed. Let me pull this back up. Hold on one second. The number 5 seed.
The 2 seed. They're 5.
Oh yeah. Okay. They're the 2 seeds, but 5th ranked overall is Duke, Dayton, Louisville, and West Virginia. Now Duke is ranked 7 right now. Dayton is ranked 6. Louisville's 5, and West Virginia is 14. And this is before they lost. This is before they lost, correct. So it is tough to say. These will probably change in the next week. But then we'll go on to the 3 seeds that go as Maryland, FSU, Florida State, Seton Hall, and Villanova. And obviously Villanova lost. Seton Hall moved up to 10. Florida State still stayed in the top, and Maryland stayed in the top 8. Or top 10, sorry. And then the number 4 seeds are Auburn. Are they even ranked? Yeah, they're ranked 11. Auburn, Oregon, Butler, and Michigan State. And Michigan State's not even in the top 25. So these will definitely change in the next week. Maybe we'll have to...
Florida State plays Duke tonight, so that'll shift it up a little bit depending on the outcome.
Yeah, because they're both 20-3 right now, I believe.
Yeah, and they were talking about on the release show that Maryland is so close to a 2 seed, and West Virginia losing moves them up to the 2 seed. I would say, and then Florida State.
You think Maryland moves up to a 2 seed with West Virginia losing? Okay, yeah, I see that for sure.
They're the best team in the Big Ten.
Maryland,
for sure.
Yeah. So if, say, Florida State beats Duke, does Duke fall out of the top 10, or do you think they just switch spots at 7 and 8?
I think top 10 as in 8 people.
Yes.
No, I think they both stay in the top 10 regardless of the result.
Okay. Fair enough.
I don't think. I think Florida State has more of a chance to fall to the top 10 than Duke does.
Yeah, I think Duke is like the Patriots this year, where all of these analysts. Well, I mean, okay, I guess I can't say that because their record proved that they were somewhat good because their defense was very good, but it just seemed like they're always in that top 5 to top 10 rankings, and no one can rank them out of it. So, like, if they were to lose to them, they're never gonna be out of the top 10, which I hate. But like, it's always gonna be like that.
Yeah, it's just all based on the history of what they've done. I mean, it's so hard with North Carolina this year.
Exactly.
Because they've been they've been horrible. And if Duke would have lost to North Carolina, that would have really hurt Duke.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
on the road, it's a quadrant 2 loss, which means that I believe they're out of the top 75 in net ranking. And if Duke was at home, it'd be a quadrant 3, which is even worse. So it could have dropped Duke down to a 3 seed for sure.
Yeah, well, they play at the end of the last game of the season on like March 7th or something like that. So we'll see if that really affects how selection
At that point,
Sunday.
I think they play. Well, they'll play Florida State, obviously. If they beat Florida State and they lose to North Carolina, but then win the rest of their games, I still think that they're a 2 seed. But if they lose 2 games, they could fall to a 3. I could see that.
Yeah, FSU's their only ranked game left for Duke. Other than that, they play Virginia one more time and UNC one more time. So I guess we'll see.
And that's a big game for Virginia because they need to get into the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so anything else you got on men's basketball for us?
Last one more team to look out for is Dayton. Dayton scores a ton of points. I mean, their 3-point shooting is lethal. They have Obi Toppin. Have you heard of Obi
I have
Toppin?
not heard of Obi Toppin.
He's a power forward for Dayton. He'll be a lottery pick in the draft. I mean, he's really good. He's a player of the year candidate. So there could be a dangerous team in the tournament. I mean, they can score, and that's the big thing in the tournament, obviously. But so I'd watch out for them.
Obi.
That's the last I have.
He is leading their team with 19.6 points per game, 7.8
Which is
rebounds per
crazy for
game,
college.
1.4 blocks per game, averaging 31-ish minutes. Yeah, he seems to be pretty good.
From what CBS is saying, he's the front runner. So
Yeah.
it's either him or Cassius Winston, and Cassius Winston hasn't been playing well.
And
so.
Dayton's in the top 6 teams in the nation,
Yeah,
so it just
yeah.
makes them look even.
What's their ranking in AP?
They're 6.
They
Yep.
are. Okay.
All right, so I think that's probably it for what we got for NCAA this week. We'll move on to our next topic, which is the MLB. And as we sit here, we did just get an update. The MLB is now considering a new playoff format that could go into effect in 2022. I'm going to read it, and then we'll get our thoughts on it. It'll be like a minute or two. But they came out and said, basically, they kind of want to do a thing like Selection Sunday with NCAA basketball. But it gives the ability of 2 different teams from each league the ability to pick their opponents. What they would do is, instead of having 5 teams from each league and in the playoffs, it would turn into 7 teams. And then the top teams from each division, or not each division, from each league, like the top records, they would get a bye and no matter what be into the division round. From then on, the second best team, the second best division winner. So we'll just go based off the AL last year. The Astros would have gotten this bye in this new playoffs because they had the highest record. Then the Yankees would have been the 2 seed because they were the next highest and they also won the division. The Twins would have been the 3 and the Athletics would have been the 4. So then in this new playoffs, what they would do is the Yankees would get a bye into the division series, or not the Yankees, the Astros would. Then the Yankees, the Twins, and the Athletics would get to basically go on live television. The Yankees would get their first pick of the bottom 3 wild card teams, but the Yankees, Twins, and Athletics get to host every wild card round. So if the Yankees were to pick a team of the bottom 3, it was the Rays, the Indians, or the Red Sox. So the Yankees, let's just say the Yankees want to play the Rays. So then it goes to the Twins on this live show, like Selection Sunday type thing. Then the Twins would go, and they would have to pick between the Indians or the Red Sox, and then the A's would get whoever the Twins didn't pick. So that would be just like wild card series, and those games are best of threes, so we could see up to 18 different games per league for just the wild card, for just the first round, and that's up to 12 elimination games in the first round of the playoffs, which would be absolutely insane. From there on, it would still be the same thing. Like whoever won would play, the lowest seed would play the Yankees, and the other two teams out of those wild card rounds would play each other, and then they would play, and then the winner of those two rounds would play for the championship, and then they would play the other side or the NL for the World Series. What the MLB is trying to do, I think, is basically try and eliminate game 163, so there's no more controversy of just one game division winners and wild card winners. This kind of gives those teams that are always on the edge, like the Cardinals or the Brewers or the Cubs, they're always super tight at the end of the year, or like the AL East, where the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Rays are always super close, or like back in the day when the Giants and Dodgers would always fight it out. They're just trying to they're trying to get as many teams and the most competition into October and the end of September as possible. Which I think this idea is really good.
Do something. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the more teams in the playoffs, that increases viewership. I mean, they cheer on their home team, and having the Selection Sunday idea kind of increases not only viewership but excitement towards the MLB, which they need.
Yeah, and the MLB is just gonna make so much revenue off an hour show of some managers or some person from the team picking who they want to play.
Yeah, is this where they pick every round?
Nope, I think it's just for the wild card. So your wild card round would be the two other top two division winners would get to pick one of the three lower, like the 5, 6, and 7 seeds. So really, really, there wouldn't be like a set like bottom 3 seeds, but like really their records would show that. But like they can pick whoever they want to play.
Yeah, so they're not like how the Twins were.
Exactly.
They wouldn't necessarily play the Yankees in the first round. They could choose between whoever.
Yep, exactly.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But the counter argument to it is having 14 teams in the playoffs.
It's kind of a weird number. I mean, it'd be the first time.
It'd
be the first time we'd see something like this in sports. So it could be like a try.
I guess there's 16 in the NBA. So
yeah. So there could be some trial and error that could go on. Maybe they do it for a year and say they don't like it. So I guess we'll find out. Anyway, moving on to more MLB news. Last week, before we talked to you guys, or I take that back. After we talked on our second episode, I believe it was either that night or the day after, the Boston Red Sox attempted to trade away Mookie Betts and David Price to the LA Dodgers in exchange for somehow the Twins were involved as well. The Twins were getting Kenta Maeda, and the Twins were gonna give Boston a right-handed
Brusdar Graterol.
Yeah,
he's a relief pitcher, but they thought he was a starting pitcher, and they said they also didn't know he was having arm problems.
Yeah, he had he had Tommy John surgery previously that they didn't know about. I also heard rumors that he failed his physical when he went, Alex told me he didn't think that was true, but it's kind of up in the air. But either way, that trade got what's the word I'm looking for?
Scrutiny.
Yeah. And so it didn't happen. But it's probably been, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, and they've been talking about it. And there was a trade between the Dodgers, the Twins, and the Red Sox. LA acquired Mookie Betts and David Price from Boston. And Boston received Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. And then the Twins also traded Brusdar Gradal, or what is it? Gratterall?
Gratterall.
In exchange for Kenton Maeda. Now, I think the Twins, on my end, I think they definitely got the better hand because they're looking for starting pitching right now and not trying to keep that prospect.
And their bullpen is kind of strong, so they could have afforded it. And Boston is paying half of David Price's remaining salary, so that's big for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to try and keep David Price for the end of this year, but they really want to sign Mookie Betts to his $400+ million contract next year.
He'll get a bag.
Yeah, so I definitely think the Dodgers came out on the top end of that trade, because it just proves that they're going to be much better than what we think.
Yeah.
With this trade going through, and talking about our World Series predictions last week, you have the Braves. Do you have to? Are you changing your predictions at all based on the Dodgers?
No, I'm not. Because the big question the problem with the Dodgers every year in the playoffs is playoff pitching.
Yep,
and they got rid of a middle rotation pitcher.
And they don't have Ryu anymore. He went to Toronto, and
I mean Walker Buehler's insane.
Yeah, he's good.
He's amazing, but I don't think pitching is.
I definitely agree. I'm not changing my Yankees prediction at all because I just don't think the Dodgers have consistent pitching in the playoffs.
They have a high power batting lineup, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they
can get 8 runs, they also can give up 9 runs. So,
but the big thing with Mookie Betts is they're getting some great defense from him. So, I don't know. And they're keeping what's his name, Jock Peterson now.
Yeah, I forgot about that. The Dodgers tried to trade away Jock Peterson probably to get money to pay for David Price in the previous trade, but then that trade to the Angels got declined, and
by the
Angels, correct. And so then the Dodgers have to keep Jock Peterson now. So that Dodgers,
they're gonna try to trade him still.
Yeah, they probably have to free up some cap, but other than that, I think the MLB.
Who did you have the Yankees playing? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Was it the Dodgers?
In the World Series?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said.
Or do you have like the Nationals or something like that?
I have the Nationals winning that division. I'm looking at it right now. So I don't remember what I said. I'll have to go back and look at that. I should have wrote like a whole bracket out. But anything else you got on the MLB? Other than pitchers and catchers reported last week, actually just a couple days ago. Spring training's right around the corner. And
getting closer to opening day.
Yep. And closer to opening day means the warmer weather we get here in the Midwest. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think the MLB has came to a close, and we are going to move on to the NBA, which is usually our starting topic, but the NBA has a little more information this week, as it does the past 2 weeks for some reason. We like to talk about it, even though we don't watch it that much. But I'm going to let you talk a little more than I do because you know a little more. But I'll just say some of the topics. We're gonna go with some trades that happened last week in the NBA. Your beloved Minnesota Timberwolves got basically
Finally.
just what they needed to
Yeah.
to win. I guess that's all you got to say. They acquired 7 new. Is it 7? Yeah, 7
Yeah,
new
7.
players, and headlining those 7 players are D'Angelo Russell. They also got Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Juancho Hernandez, some draft picks, and then they got Evan Turner, but they are just buying Evan Turner's contract out, I believe.
And James Johnson.
Who's
Who's like a 14-year veteran or something like that. He was on the Heat when they won. So he's won championships. He might not be in the roster though next year. So hopefully. Yeah, so basically they finally got rid of Andrew Wiggins. I mean, love him or hate him, he's probably I don't want to say that. Never mind. He was never living up to his potential. I mean, he could have been great. He was gifted athletically. And they got D'Angelo Russell.
I feel like Andrew Wiggins was like he was always like holding just a little back.
Yeah, you would see it in glimpses. He always went off against the Thunder, always went off against Toronto, and then it seemed like he coasted through parts of games, and it just annoyed you to no end.
Mm-hmm.
And they got 3-point shooters, and Malik Beasley's shooting 35%, I believe. They attempted before the trade the third most 3-pointers, and were the worst team in 3-point percentage. So in the press conference, they were talking about how they played in the style of basketball that they wanted to, that not necessarily fit their players. Yep. So they knew what they needed and what they didn't need. And the first game out, they beat the Clippers, have 27 3-pointers, which is a franchise record.
And they didn't even have.
And they're the first team.
D'Angelo Russell didn't even play, didn't he? He was out with an injury.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was a calf or something like that. They're the first team, I believe, if I got this right, that has shot more than 25 3-pointers in a game and was over 50% from 3. So that's
pretty impressive.
Oh no, it was 50 or 45 threes and over 50%. So that was awesome. Obviously, they played Toronto tonight. It's D'Lo's debut in about 30 minutes, so that'll be interesting to see how he meshes with Cat.
They're in Toronto.
The pick and roll game should be crazy. What else happened? Andre Drummond got traded to the Cavaliers, so that sucks for him.
I know Andre.
He has a player option. He has a player option, and there's teams that needed big men. 3 of them traded for him. 4 can re-sign players, and the rest either had Andre Drummond or now are the Cavs. So he really doesn't have any options coming up. And what were you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is that whole Andre Iguodala, for whatever he did, he's a prick. Okay. Where was he before? Memphis, yeah. He was at Memphis.
Never played a minute.
Didn't play a single minute, getting paid like $15 million to sit the bench and basically not do anything. And then he gets traded to the Heat, and now he's just gonna play. And he could, and it's a player. It might be a team option in the second year or something like that.
This tweet that I saw perfectly sums it up. It says Andre Iguodala got paid like $15 million to not show up to work, did a media tour advertising his services to other prospective employers, pissed off a bunch of Gen Zers, and just got given an additional $30 million to spend the next 2 years in Miami. First team all finesse.
For real.
Like, That's finessing if I've ever seen
Yeah.
it.
A team that really won the trade deadline for the NBA would definitely be the Miami Heat. They
Yeah.
they got Jay Crowder, Solomon Hill, Andre Iguodala. Did they get Gorgie Dang too?
No, the Grizzlies did.
Oh, they did. Okay. But
Uh,
that Heat lineup they're damn good.
yeah, Tyler Harrow is playing really
Yeah,
well
he could
from
potentially be
Kentucky.
like sixth man of the year.
Yeah, he's playing extremely well. Bam Adebayo, he's an all-star,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, he's playing really well also. And I hate Jimmy Butler, but he seems to be playing pretty well as well. So
Yeah. Who else?
that team could be
The
good.
Rockets definitely lost the trade deadline after trading away the only big man on their team, Clint
Well,
Capella.
and they cut their other.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing down there. They also lost on a buzzer beater. I believe it was last night to the Jazz.
Yeah,
And
it was crazy
yeah.
that he had two guys on
Hmm.
him with like 1 second left, but they're committed to small ball offense. They beat the Lakers on the first night of it, but Anthony Davis went off for 45 points because PJ Tucker was guarding him the whole time. That's not the move. I feel like they're gonna get dominated in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any other big trades that went on that we're missing?
I'm trying to see. Marcus Morris
He got
was traded to the Clippers. The Knicks were giving a haul for him.
no,
Well, they
Marcus
got a
Morris
first
and
round.
Isaiah Thomas went to the Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers cut Isaiah Thomas, still, I believe. Or
Oh, they
bought
did?
him out.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Then Jerome Robinson joined the Wizards, and the Knicks received Mo Harkless in the 2020 first-round draft pick. Interesting.
Yeah, so he was leading the team and he was leading the Knicks in points. So we'll have to see how the Knicks do with their new owner. I think he's the president of basketball operations too. Just try to get that team out of the dumpster
Yeah,
because they are falling off the map.
for sure. All right, so let's our next topic for the NBA is the NBA All-Star Game, which is happening finally this weekend, starting Friday with some type of skills competition. I don't really know. Actually, I have the schedule right in front of me. Give me 3 seconds. Let me scroll down to it. No, I don't. I don't know when these are taking place. I lied. But we got some.
I know the skills competition it's on Saturday. It's the first event.
Oh yeah, All-Star Saturday night rosters. Look at that. The 3-point contest that includes Damian Lillard, Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Buddy Hield, Duncan Robinson, Joe Harris, Davis Bertans, and Devonte Graham. Zach LaVine's in the 3-point contest, but not the dunk contest.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow. Joe Harris made it though.
Joe Harris is about to win that.
I think the favorite here is definitely Lillard or Trae Young. I don't see Zach LaVine as much.
Joe Harris is insane.
It should be a good one. Slam dunk contest is on Saturday as well. Dwight Howard, Aaron Gordon, Derek Jones Jr., and Pat Connaughton. We've talked about that plenty of times now. The skills competition also is Saturday night, and that goes with Jason Tatum, Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo, Domantas Sabonis, Patrick Beverly, Chris Middleton, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who is replacing Derrick Rose.
Yeah, that sucks. Because it's in Chicago, too.
Yep.
That'd have been cool with Derrick Rose in it.
They must.
One more thing about the 3-point contest. They're adding 2 shots that are like 6 feet behind the 3-point line that are worth like 3, I think. So
The 3-point
you
contest?
get to see a little bit of range.
They're
Yeah,
adding like 3 shots behind the 3-point?
they're adding 2 shots behind, like 6 feet behind the 3-point line.
Wow.
I just saw that.
Alright, so the Rising Stars Challenge is that night, and I believe the All-Star Game, which is Stephen A. Smith versus Team Wilbon. I don't know who that is. Excuse me. They got some. I don't even know half these people on these celebrity teams. I know Chance the Rapper, Quavo, Ronnie 2K,
Ronnie 2K.
Kane Brown, the country singer, and that's about it. I don't know anyone else. Yeah, that's weird. But
They don't have Justin Bieber
no,
in it or anything
no
like that?
Bieber, no like. I don't know. It's weird.
Kevin Hart?
No.
Really?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go straight to the All-Star rosters after the draft took place the other day. Before we do that, I'm gonna compare these two teams that Giannis and LeBron drafted, and it's the All-Star combined stats this season. So LeBron's team for the All-Star game has more points scored, has more assists, has more rebounds than Giannis's team. But Giannis's team has a better field goal percentage, better three-point field goal percentage, more blocks and dunks, and LeBron's team has more steals. Personally, I think LeBron's team is better, but that's just me. Let me read them to you right now. With LeBron James's first overall pick, he took his teammate Anthony Davis. And then Giannis, surprisingly, didn't take the Claw or the reigning MVP. He went with Joel Embiid. He called him his African brother. I watched it.
African brother?
Then after LeBron saw he didn't take Kawhi, he went after Kawhi. So then it was LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi. So then Giannis said, oh, you know what? I'll take his ex-teammate, my other African brother. I kid you not, he said that. He took Pascal Siakam as his second pick. So then LeBron's like, wow, this young white Dallas Mavericks player who's going to be the next me in the next 10 years. Luka Doncic is still on the board. So LeBron went with him. And then Giannis came back with his third pick and said, I don't want to pick someone... excuse me. I want to pick someone who passes the ball. So he didn't take James Harden at his number 3. He took Kemba Walker.
Wow.
And LeBron took James Harden at 4. Then Giannis came back and finally made a smart pick in Trae Young. And then Dame Lillard went to LeBron and Chris Middleton. Oh, I guess that's their 6th man. LeBron's bench is Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Domantas Sabonis. Giannis's bench, Chris Middleton, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Brandon Ingram, Donovan Mitchell. I don't know. The way Giannis had this book he was reading out of, and he was marking off all these things. I just couldn't believe why he didn't pick Kawhi or Luka Doncic or James Harden for that matter. He might not pass the ball, but
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Giannis from Greece?
Yeah.
So he's calling people his African brother.
I don't know.
Like those other two players aren't they from Africa?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Embiid's not from Africa, but I mean, there's better players than the two he drafted who are also black. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what his thoughts.
But I mean, you do you. Well, I knew he was gonna take Chris Middleton with the first pick in the back.
Yeah.
He did that last year.
Joel Embiid's from Cameroon.
So he's from Africa.
And let's see, where is Pascal Siakam from? He's got to be from there too, right? Somewhere.
I know he's from Africa. I can't remember where he's from though.
He is from Cameroon, same spot. They produce basketball players in Cameroon, let me tell you.
LeBron's team is better.
Yeah. It's going to be like did you hear the new format they're doing for the All-Star game?
No.
With the whole Kobe thing?
Oh, with the 24 and the 8s?
No, so they're playing 3 regular quarters of the game, And then, so say LeBron's team is up 126 to 120, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So then the fourth quarter, per se, it's not timed. It's the team to score 24 points more than the leading team. So, like, if LeBron's up 126 to 120, the the first team to hit 150 wins.
Okay.
So, like, they're just then in the fourth quarter, it's like they have to score 24 more points.
24.
Correct. But, like,
so they could go forever.
no, they don't have to be up by 24. It's so if Giannis is at 120 and LeBron's at 126, they have to score 24 points, but Giannis would have to score 30. It's the first person to. They just add 24 points to the leading scorer, and then the first team to that points wins.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. It was a little weird, but.
All right.
I think the NBA is basically done. Well, we can move on to the NFL. Sad day. The NFL. It's been the first full week without the NFL. The XFL did start. I didn't watch it. I know you didn't watch it. I heard it was pretty entertaining. I saw a meme that said the DC Defenders had 3.3 million views or something like that, and it was more than all of the Washington Redskins games combined this year or something like that. There isn't really much to talk about specifically of the NFL and games and stuff like that, but we can talk about some top free agents going into the 2020 off season. I'll name you some names. You tell me where you think they're gonna go, if they're gonna say where they're gonna sign. So, obviously, we have Tom Brady. We talked about him a little bit last week. I still think he's gonna sign with the Patriots, even though all these things say he's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah. The safe bet is the Patriots, but I mean, if you're trying to think of other teams, the Buccaneers have been talked about.
Oakland's in that talk.
Oakland,
I also saw
Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, I take that back. Las Vegas. I also saw a thing earlier today that said the Cowboys were looking to trade Dak away and sign Tom Brady, but that could have been totally false news. Like, I don't even know. I don't remember where I saw that. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. But speaking of Dak Prescott, he's our next free agent. Does he re-sign with the Cowboys, you think?
Yeah, it's hard to find a good starting quarterback in the league. So I think that Mike McCarthy was pretty committed on Dak in the press conference. So I think he'll stay.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't work out.
The next quarterback, he came out and said a couple weeks ago that the only way he's not retiring, and when he plays, he'll be playing for the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees. That's a lock, like 99.9%. He's going back to the Saints.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Now I also saw another rumor. It's not really a rumor. It's more of kind of facts that the Tennessee Titans are going to re-sign Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and they're not going to franchise either of them.
That's good. That'll be good. They both deserve it.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota's also a free agent, so
I've been saying since he was benched that he's going to be on the Chicago Bears. I will live by that prediction.
I can see that. I totally can see that. The other thing was I saw the Cowboys are going to let Byron Jones walk. He's going straight to free agents, so that's probably like a top corner right there that could be lingering around.
James Bradbury's a free agent also. He's really good.
Yep. Amari Cooper, do you think Dallas goes after him again? They have to, right?
They have to. I feel like, or maybe Las Vegas signs him.
That'd be weird.
The Vegas Raiders they need a starting wide receiver. Oh wait, no, he was on the Raiders. Oh my God, no, there's no way he says that. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought you were
Just
like
thinking about
saying
that.
that like he would go back.
Oh no, I thought. Yeah, I completely forgot that he was on the Raiders. I don't. There's no way. No.
All right, so Chris Jones from Kansas City, he's a free agent. Do we think he signs back?
Packers should sign him.
Yeah, well, Packers should
should
sign a
sign
lot of guys, like Jadeveon Clowney, who's a free agent.
Yeah.
If the Packers just signed Jadeveon Clowney, I honestly wouldn't care about football for the rest of the year. Like, even if they lost every game. You can't have enough outside linebackers because they can play defensive end and outside linebacker. Like, they can go in coverage or
you
rush
saw
the
that
passer.
with Za'Darius and Preston Smith. They were playing. They were edge rushers. They were outside linebackers. Preston Smith dropped a coverage every once in a while.
They can do
Like
exactly. Like they can run anywhere.
There's a huge importance with. Yeah, there's a huge importance with versatile edge rushers.
So our next one, AJ Green. Do you think he stays in Cincinnati?
I don't think there's any way he stays in Cincinnati.
I think he needs to go somewhere with a good trainer.
Yeah.
Somewhere where he can stay healthy.
It's a good meal plan.
Yeah.
Maybe Green Bay isn't the best option for AJ Green because considering we have ice on the sidewalks and his ankles are bad, he could easily fall and injure himself, and then he's out for another
6
whole
years.
season. Yeah.
I also saw a thing that, or I keep seeing a thing that says the Packers are trying to trade for Odell. I kind of hope it's true. It could very well
that'd be awesome.
not be true at all. So
Cole wants Packers to sign Robbie Anderson.
I would love to see that. That would make the Packers offense that much better. He's a guy that'll take it off he'll take it to the safeties deep while Devontae Adams is cutting across the middle. So
he could be a slightly less athletic Mecole Hardman.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want to say Mecole Hardman because he's not that fast.
No,
but
exactly.
he's that same kind of role.
Another big name out there, Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry are both free agents. They'll probably both get re-signed to the same teams, Atlanta and
Austin. I think
Chargers.
I think Atlanta already said that they're. Oh, I saw a tweet actually that said that the Falcons tweeted that they're going to pursue re-signing Austin Hooper, and then some guy responded and said, "What's your sources?" And they're like, "Literally us. We are the Falcons." So, yeah. So, I think there's no way Austin Hooper doesn't come back. But I also think that Devonta Freeman might get cut.
Wow.
Because they have Ito Smith, and you see the running backs now are just
anybody.
It's like throwing up to the curb.
Yeah.
And then just use low price.
Might as well
guys.
call Sam Altona and tell him that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for an opening.
Yeah.
I mean, he can stay healthier than James Conner at least.
Yeah, don't even get me started with James Conner and being unhealthy.
All right, so Phillip Rivers announced that him and the Chargers are parting ways earlier today. Where do you think he goes? If he even comes back and plays. I don't think he mentioned retiring.
I think he comes back. But I could see.
I honestly could see Phillip Rivers in a Bears uniform.
That'd be weird. I think any team that Phillip Rivers is on would be weird.
Other than the Chargers, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to sign him.
God, I don't know where he would go.
It's tough.
Do you think he goes to like? I don't know where he would go.
I could see him.
Indianapolis.
He could. He could also go to like
Tampa. No.
I feel like
You might want to stay in California because he gets no income tax there, and he's got an army to feed in his house. So he needs all the money.
He would have to rent. He would have to buy out a hotel if he had to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
I still think Tampa Bay is going to re-sign Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I think that Jameis Winston will stay there. He's had more interceptions in his career than Aaron Rodgers has in his career.
Yeah, and he's what?
Let's put that into
Jameis Winston's
perspective. We're talking about signing Jameis to a long-term deal.
Jameis Winston's
And he's got more
26,
picks.
and Aaron Rodgers is what, like 37?
36, 37, yeah.
Yeah, 10. He's been in the league probably 10 years more. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my god. Cam? Do you think Cam gets traded?
I don't know. Can you really trust Kyle Allen?
Cam gets traded to Miami.
Ooh,
Let's do it.
I could see it. I could see it. Cam to Miami. How about
And then they draft Tua, and then Tua sits out a year, and then they do a little two-quarterback thing after that. I can see
I
it.
can see it. Yeah, totally. All right, so let's go a couple more here, and then we'll wrap her up. We got Clinton Dix is out there. Obviously, we don't really know where he's going to go. Our favorite cornerback, Trey Waynes, the no-look bird box man.
I don't think he gets re-signed. I think he does. I think Xavier Rhodes gets cut.
Personally, I think that they have to re-sign Trey Waynes because no one else is willing to take that little of money because they don't have much left in their cap.
Yeah.
So
And Trey Waynes, Xavier Rhodes just needs to be cut.
yeah, he's
Please.
just
Actually, don't cut him, so then we could play him twice a year. But I think in terms of their football team, they need to get rid of it.
yeah. A couple other big names out there. Emmanuel Sanders. Do you think he goes back to the 49ers?
No, I think that's a rental. For sure.
I definitely think he was just trying to get his name out there, say that he's still relevant.
I think I could see him signing in with Chicago.
I could see that. Chicago's like a place
It's
where
just-
people go to die. Like Khalil Mack.
Uh,
Just an off year.
It's okay. He's not gonna watch this. It's fine.
It doesn't matter. Just think about it. Khalil Mack, one good year, still gets voted as a Pro Bowler over Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith.
Well, going back to Xavier Rhodes, that takes away all the credibility of the Pro Bowl that Xavier Rhodes was in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
Did they run out of names to like put in there like nobody else wanted to play
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
and then they were.
You know
just
how
like,
many guys get voted in the Pro Bowl and then just say they don't want to play?
Yeah, that's probably why half of them probably were injured in the past, and then they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit this one out.
Yeah, exactly. The Pro Bowl's a joke. They don't even tackle in the Pro Bowl. They might as well just put.
Yeah,
they might as well throw.
they get two-hand
They
touch
might as well
and
not wear gear and just throw flags around their waist.
There was a Nick Chubb run that he wasn't even touched. He just had three guys surrounding him. They blew the whistle.
Yeah, exactly. It's stupid. All right, so let's go with Kenyon Drake of the Arizona Cardinals. This is what I think with Kenyon Drake.
Resign.
They definitely resign, and they definitely trade David Johnson away. They have to get some type of defense.
They will either trade or cut David Johnson. I feel like they can't afford his money.
I feel like they could. I feel like they
To
could
not play him.
trade David Johnson away and get a better draft pick.
Yeah, for like a second-round pick, maybe.
Yeah. Same with Melvin Gordon. Where do we think Melvin Gordon's going to land?
Tampa.
Really?
Yeah, I could see
With
them going
Ronald
to
Jones
Tampa.
there?
So, like off and on. I mean, he looked like he was going to be the guy, and then they started using Peyton Barber more. And Peyton Barber is a below-average running back anyway.
Personally, I think that Melvin Gordon could go to what is that team?
Philly?
Yeah, well, they love running backs, so maybe. I was thinking
That's where running backs sort of die.
like the Texans.
Oh, yeah, the Texans.
'Cause
I still think Jonathan Taylor goes to the Texans.
That's true. He could. Who else is? I'm trying to think.
Buffalo. Oh, no, they have Devin Singletary. So they won't.
Seattle, maybe. You think?
Yeah, well, they have Chris Carson. I don't think they would.
True. I don't know. It'll be weird.
Denver?
With Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman there.
Yeah, it's so tough. I just think Tampa would be perfect.
Tampa. I feel like someone up in the. You can go to the Patriots. They don't really have a solid running back anymore.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I saw that they might cut.
James White.
They'll cut Rex Burkhead.
Oh.
No, they shouldn't cut James White. James White was their best offensive player in the second half of the season.
True. They just need to keep their offense.
They need
healthy.
wide
Yeah,
receivers.
they need to keep their wide receivers healthy. That's what they need to do. Because when they brought N'Keal Harry back and had all those other young rookies, they were fine. But that wasn't until the end of the season, and they got hurt.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well,
All right.
I think that's.
What's our time looking like here?
We're at right an hour, so I think we're perfectly fine. I got nothing else unless you got something.
No, I think I'm good as well.
All right, sweet. Then we'll wrap her up. Thank you guys for watching. This is the third episode of the On Season Sports Podcast.
Next one should be fantasy football.
Yeah.
A little bit of fantasy football.
Hopefully, maybe later this week we'll make just a strictly 30-minute fantasy football, NFL, or just insider different news.
Yeah, we could.
For you guys, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. Thanks for watching. Once again, I already said it. Continue to watch, share us around. We love the support, and yeah. Hopefully we'll see you next week.